All right, ready to dive in. Today, we're tackling Zoho Creator Development. We're going deep on this one, really trying to get a feel for what it takes to build on this platform. And luckily, we've got a great set of interview questions to guide us. They're like little windows into the minds of the pros.
Yeah, it's a bit like reverse engineering a career path, figuring out what knowledge is actually valued in the real world.
Exactly. So first up, let's talk about this deluge script thing. Sounds kind of intense. Is it as complicated as it sounds?
It's funny you should say that because it does have a certain ring to it, doesn't it? Like something out of a tech thriller. But honestly, it's more approachable than it might seem at first glance. Think of it as the language that lets you have a real conversation with Zoho Creator.
Okay, so if deluge script is the language, what are we actually talking about? What kind of conversations can we have?
We're talking about making your apps dance. We're talking about automation, customization, making those apps sing to your tune, not just the default melody. And the beauty of Deluge Script is how deeply it's woven into the entire Zoho world. It's not some generic coding language trying to fit in. It's built for this ecosystem, which makes all the difference.
So you're saying it's like purpose-built for Zoho, which obviously has its advantages, but there's always a but, right?
Yeah.
What's the catch with Deluge script?
Well, like with any specialized language, there's a learning curve. And one of the key concepts you'll bump into is this thing called execution context. It's basically the idea that your code can act differently depending on where it's running, kind of like how you'd behave differently at a rock concert versus, say, a library.
That actually makes a lot of sense. It's all about context. Now, another thing that keeps popping up in these interview questions, triggers. We've got on add, on update, on delete. They seem self-explanatory, but why are they such a big deal in the Zoho Creator world?
They're a big deal because they're the magic behind making your apps truly dynamic. Imagine this. Someone places an order in your app, and bam, thanks to an on-add trigger, an invoice is generated automatically. No manual work, instant efficiency.
Nice. Okay, so triggers equal automation. Got it. But even the slickest automation can fall apart if the underlying app is slow, right? And that gets us to another question that seems to be on every Zoho developer's mind. Performance optimization.
It's the eternal struggle, isn't it? Even with these amazing low-code platforms, performance still matters. And that's where optimizing your Deluge script comes in.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? Give us the secrets.
Well, there's no magic bullet, but there are some proven strategies. One is minimizing those database calls. Think of it like planning your grocery shopping trips so you're not running back and forth for every little thing. Another is mastering the art of loops, making sure your code isn't stuck running in circles unnecessarily.
Right, efficient code is happy code. Now, shifting gears a bit, there's this huge emphasis in the interview questions on integrations, specifically with Zoho CRM. Why is that connection such a big deal?
Because, my friend, integration is where the real magic happens. It's like building bridges between all your different business apps so they can actually talk to each other. Instead of data being stuck in silos, you have this beautiful flow of information. Imagine a new lead popping up in your CRM, and boom, it automatically syncs with your Zoho Creator Marketing app, triggering a personalized welcome email. It's about creating a connected ecosystem.
That's the dream. But let's get real for a sec. What about all that legacy data trapped in old systems? Migrating that to Zoho Creator sounds daunting, to say the least.
Data migration can definitely be a hairy beast. It's like moving houses, lots of packing, unpacking, hoping you don't lose anything important in the process. But like any move, the key is planning. Map out your old data structure, see how it fits into the Zoho world, make sure everything's compatible, and test, test, test.
So careful planning, a good map, and maybe a whole lot of coffee.
Got it. Now, digging a bit deeper into these interview questions, we start hitting on some more, shall we say, advanced concepts. OAuth 2.0 authentication, for example. I'll be honest, that one sounds a bit intimidating.
It's actually not as scary as it sounds. Think of OAuth 2.0 as a really secure way to let other apps access your Zoho Creator data, but in a very controlled way. It's like giving someone a valet key. They can park your car, but they can't just drive off with it. It's all about keeping your data safe.
Ah, so it's like a security guard for your data. Makes sense. And that actually highlights something important about Zoho Creator development in general. We've talked about scripting, integrations, data migration, security. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And it seems like problem solving is a huge part of it, too. Oh, absolutely. You're constantly troubleshooting, debugging, figuring out why something isn't working the way it should. One of the interview questions even touched on this directly, asking about how to troubleshoot a complex form that wasn't submitting data correctly.
Ugh, those why isn't this working moments,
Ah.
we've all been there. So what's the key to being a good Zoho creator troubleshooter?
It's all about having a systematic approach. Don't just randomly tweak things and hope for the best. Check your form fields, validate your data, scrutinize your deluge script, test different scenarios, be methodical about it.
So it's almost like being a detective. You've got to find the clues and crack the case. Well, we've covered a ton of ground today. Deluge scripting, integrations, data migration, even touched on some more advanced security concepts. Safe to say, Zoho creator development is a pretty diverse field.
It certainly is. And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. As you dive deeper into this world and start building these powerful applications, remember the impact your work can have. It's not just about lines of code, it's about the people using your apps, the processes you're automating, even the wider world. Approach this journey with curiosity, creativity, and a sense of purpose, and you'll be amazed at what you can achieve.